Firecast, a podcast from MDM Publishing, brought to you in association with Asia Pacific Fire magazine, focusing on disaster management, fire protection and the fire service.
Welcome to this latest Firecast, where today we're looking towards AFAC24 powered by INTERSCHUTZ, now returning to the International Convention Centre in Sydney for the first time since 2017. The event, which is held from the 3rd to the 6th of September, will explore the theme Embracing Innovation and Disruption, Designing the Future for Our Sector. The programme will feature a wide variety of content, including exhibition, inspiring keynotes and invited speakers. AFAC24 will explore how new technologies, research and approaches to emergency management are integral to reducing the complex risks that face the sector and help build resilience for the future. AFAC24 is proudly hosted by ACT Emergency Services Agency, ACT Parks and Conservation Service, Fire and Rescue NSW, Surf Life Saving NSW, NSW Forestry Corporation, NSW National Parks and Wildlife Service, NSW State Emergency Service and NSW Rural Fire Service. So this is the first of two podcasts looking at AFAC24. This one's going to focus on the conference programme. So let's meet our guests, Commissioner Jeremy Fewtrell, Fire and Rescue of New South Wales and the AFAC24 Programme Committee Chair, and Naomi Stevens, New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service. So thank you both for joining us on this Firecast. Jeremy, if I can start with you. The theme of this year's conference is Embracing Innovation and Disruption, Designing the Future for Our Sector. Now, what does this mean to you?
I guess a big part of the innovation and the new technologies that will come in the future and are starting to emerge now is around the technology and the rate at which they'll be developed and introduced. And for me, what's really interesting is the challenge for agencies such as ours to be able to take on that new technology and introduce it into our operating systems and working out the best ways to put it into practice. And so the things that we can learn from others that are already early adopters and implementing things, and also getting a bit of a window into the future so we can start to prepare ourselves for what might be coming our way.
And I guess technology moves so fast these days, it's quite tough to keep across it all without events like this.
That's right. It's really easy to miss things. There's so many different developments and new technologies being introduced, and having a forum like the AFAC Conference, but then also the trade show that goes with it, is a chance for all the different producers, manufacturers that work in and around the sector to cross paths with the agencies and the agency staff, and to showcase the new developments. And for us, it's a chance to get some really good insights into the new technologies and the different ways that we might be able to use them beyond that which we would have thought of ourselves.
And Naomi, what particularly does the theme mean to you?
The theme for me really characterises our times. Clearly, we're facing a future that will be dominated by technological innovation, just as Jeremy said, but also that will be dominated by disruption caused by a range of factors, including climate change, but also social and political events and trends. I think this has been our recent past, and I think it's no doubt where we're headed as well. And embracing innovation and disruption and seeing opportunity where it presents is going to be key to the future of our sector and probably our society. This year's theme is challenging the status quo to help us to prepare and adapt the sector to be better equipped when these events occur in the future. And I think the complex disasters that are occurring really require complex solutions, and giving the sector a platform to share and learn from each other will generate and circulate new ideas and generate discussion on how the sector can improve. Addressing complexity requires deep focused thought, but also diverse and out-of-the-box kind of thinking and disruptive thinking. And bringing the sector together to share ideas and make connections is key to generating the innovation that will be critical to shaping our future's response, our sector's response to the future.
And I think that disruption's coming one way or another, and to think that if any agency thought they could just sort of keep doing what we've always done in the way that we've previously done it, the disruption's going to hit them really hard at some point, because the nature of the events that we're dealing with, the complexity of them, but also the community's expectations on how well agencies deal with things, how well they cooperate, are all driving that sort of disruption to the way that we manage emergency events. So if you sit back and wait, it will happen to you. I think the AFAC Conference is a great chance for us to get involved in those discussions and be thinking about it in advance so we know how we might adjust and adapt.
Yeah, I reckon there's no doubt we need to break out of the mould of what we're used to, and we need to be open to new ways of thinking. And without this, the adoption of new technologies, new ideas and innovations will be too slow for the future that we face. And conferences like this one are key to us having the opportunity to do that as a sector.
So we kind of looked at the overview of what we can expect within the conference part of AFAC24. What about specifically are you two hoping to see on this year's programme?
From my perspective, I mean, I'm from a land management agency and our focus is land management and bushfire. So I'm really interested in the Research and Innovation Day, but also the conference program. Anything that touches on advancements in bushfire risk management planning and technology, anything relating to mitigating the impacts of climate change, which is just seminal to everything we do and everything we think about. I think integrating cultural fire and land management practices is something we're working in, and we're really keen to be ahead and understand more about that area. And we're also really interested in embracing diversity in emergency management.
Having worked on the conference committee and sort of overseeing all the work that goes together, pulling the different speakers and the presentations together, I'm really looking forward to just seeing it all come together and come into place for people to be able to enjoy a range of different themes across the conference under that overarching theme. I think some of the really good insights you get, it's not only the presentations of the individual presenters, but the presentations or the discussion that comes from the panel forums and the discussions there with the group discussions and opportunities for the audience to be asking questions as well, giving people the opportunity to really extend and expand on their ideas and be challenged and sort of hear the different perspectives and different ways that people might have taken on board what was presented in the session is always a good one for me. And then also the community engagement aspect. So much of our work and the reason we're doing this is to protect the community. So the ways that we can keep better connecting with the community using, technologies to better connect. We've done a lot in recent years, but as we know, those types of technologies keep advancing and developing, so staying up to date with them. And again, the way that we get warnings and messages out, high quality information in a timely manner to the community to keep them as well informed during the dynamic situation of emergency events is going to be really important. So there's some of the things that I'm looking forward to the most.
I think that sounds absolutely great, Jeremy. The fact that it's not just going to be several days of death by PowerPoint. You've got that mixture of different sessions. You've got the panel discussions. You've got the ability for the community to ask questions, to interject, to speak as well. The other thing I'm interested in asking you as Programme Committee Chair is your choice of keynote presenters, because you've got some pretty impressive names on there.
We've put a lot of thought into getting some really high quality keynote speakers, and they go a long way to helping to sort of reinforce the theme and really bring it to life for the participants in the conference. We've got Brendan Moon, who's the Coordinator General from the National Emergency Management Agency, and he'll bring a lot of insights into his previous work in Queensland and now working at a national level, the challenges he's seeing across the sector and the role of innovation and disruption in there in terms of moving the sector forward. And Dr. Laurie Moore from the US Fire Organisation, so she's a leader in fire in the United States. Really great engagement between the two nations, particularly around the development of fire service leadership and management and how we deal with community risks. So again, some really good insights from Dr. Laurie. Douglas D'Antoni from Kimberley, giving us a really good insight into local community flood recovery and engaging with Aboriginal communities in that context. And then, really hitting on the theme of technology and innovation and disruption. Dr. Katrina Wallace talking about artificial intelligence and the metaverse, which is something I've sort of really struggled to get my head around, and I'll leave it for her to explain complex things like that. Certainly will be better for the insights at the end of her presentation.
And of course, we've got the specific day that's the Innovation and Research Day. Naomi, tell me a bit more about that.
The Research and Innovation Day is an integral part of the conference. It's a very important day that brings together researchers to talk about their research. Research is such an important driver of innovation in our sector. It's such an important driver of technological advancement. And the most important thing about it is when practitioners get to meet researchers and talk to them about the things they're working on and the things they're learning and finding out about. We as practitioners take those ideas away, but the researchers also get to talk to us about what's really going on, and in that way their research is stronger and better adapted to be able to help us with the problems that we face in the day-to-day work that we do. It's a great way for the conference to kick off exploring the evidence base that's available to inform us about our decisions and our practices. And there's some really interesting research in the program on the first day this year. There's a focus on youth engagement for the future with New South Wales SES and New South Wales Rural Fire Service both having papers that deal with attracting and retaining young people in their volunteer ranks. There's really good papers on collaborative approaches. The New South Wales Bushfire and Natural Hazard Research Centre is undertaking a collaborative research program, and they'll be talking about that. And we've also got a paper from the University of New South Wales and the Red Cross where they talk about enablers and barriers to collaboration and how we overcome them. And then there's also some work on technology tools and training, which is about integrated AI and machine learning into research for critical infrastructure. There's work by Chris Beeman, and he's always really interesting, where he talks about emergency managers and how we make decisions and the tools that we use and the training we receive. It's really interesting to have the work that we do as decision makers in emergency management situations reflected back to us by Chris and given a framework for thinking about how we do it and how we can do it better. And there's also some work from the Northern Territory Fire and Rescue Service looking at designing training scenarios which will have relevance to so many of the organisations that are at the conference. So I think that first day is going to be excellent, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
What else are you looking forward to? If I were to ask both of you your top 3 things that you get out of an AFAC conference, what would they be?
So for me, there's the variety within the program and the exposure to different presentations that I wouldn't necessarily come across those topics in my normal day-to-day work. And so I think that's a really good sort of thought provoker and gets you thinking about things differently. So that's one of the things I really look forward to. The other one's the opportunity to network with my colleagues. And so, not often that we're all able to get in the same room at the same time. So it's a key gathering for, all the different chiefs and commissioners from around the country, and to chance to get together and talk about the different presentations we're seeing and relate it to our agencies and the pressures that we're experiencing. And then I'm actually really looking forward to the professional development program, which is at the end of the conference, the day after the conference finishes, for some of the opportunities there. So there's some good sessions that Institution of Fire Engineers is running as part of their professional development program day, looking at linking the operational decision-making made by incident commanders based and linking that to the science and the engineering that designers and fire engineers would have incorporated into buildings as well, and seeing how those two things intersect at those times of, high pressure critical decision making. So it's a great opportunity. And then also there's some tours of some of the flood and fire affected areas around Western Sydney as well, which is a really good insight into community resilience, communities recovering from impacts, and the things that different communities have done to help their particular community recover.
And I think for me, the poster viewing, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to quickly review what's been going on, and the session where the researchers are there to talk to you about what they've been doing is a really great opportunity, often to meet young researchers and sometimes just to catch up with researchers and to see how they've been going with their work. So that's a really great part of the program. The other thing, obviously, is the Research and Innovation Day, which I've already touched on. That opportunity to hear from a range of speakers, which includes researchers and practitioners, and to be able to talk with them about how it applies to the work that we do in my organisation, particularly working in fire management, but also in other incident management, is really valuable. And finally, of course, the AFAC24 Gala event. I always enjoy a party. The theme is black and white with a hint of pearl, and I know what I'll be wearing. And I'm really looking forward to catching up with people that I know, but also to have the opportunity to meet new people, because I've found in the past at that event that you do have a great opportunity to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet from different parts of the sector and different walks of life. And it can be great fun. So I'm looking forward to the gala as well.
If that's not all enough, as well as AFAC, we've also got ADRC and IFE taking place. What are the benefits of having all three conferences together?
For me, it really brings the full broad church of our sector together, and it's a mechanism where only that would occur. So you wouldn't necessarily get the people that are going to the ARDC conference running into, specialist fire engineers or operational staff from the various emergency services or agencies. Likewise, throw in land managers into the mix, and the opportunity to bump into people, to have that cross-pollination of ideas. I think it's really great. And one of the things that I often just watch is the movement of people between the different strands of the conferences and moving from one session in one conference strand to another. If you just had the one conference at the one time, people would miss out on those opportunities to hear such a diverse range of ideas and perspectives. So it really creates a special set of circumstances where you can get so many diverse perspectives looking at the emergency management sector and the land management sector in its broadest possible way.
It is an extraordinary opportunity for collaboration, having all those people there together, networking between the individuals and the agencies, and then working collaboratively on topics that affect us all across the fire and emergency management sector. I guess it's quite an unusual and very valuable opportunity.
And as I said in the introduction, the event comes to Sydney for the first time since 2017. So what does your state of New South Wales have to show the rest of Australia, your friends in New Zealand, and your international delegates?
Well, it's a great place to come, for starters. The venue itself is a really impressive venue. It lets us have the largest possible trade show as part of the event. So that's great. Situated right on Darling Harbour, so you're right in the buzzing bit of the city. So there's lots to see and do around the conference as well. And then chance to really showcase some great examples from our agencies. So from a fire and rescue perspective, we're going to have presentations on some of our projects around using data to enhance prevention and preparedness, looking at the way that we're partnering with the New South Wales State Rail Fire Service and looking at that collaboration for those really complex incidents on the rail network, particularly in the underground part. And we'll also be talking about some of the stuff we're doing in relation to firefighter wellbeing, and then also the response that we led last year to the earthquake in Turkey. Chance for us to do that in the presentations, and also for the different agencies to showcase each of ourselves through the various stands and other presentations that will be happening around the trade show.
And of course, Sydney's surrounded by the most beautiful national parks. If any of the delegates have time before or after the conference, it's a fantastic opportunity to get into nature and enjoy the beautiful World Heritage National Parks of the Blue Mountains and the coast of Royal National Park and various, as well as, of course, if they're in Sydney, Sydney Harbour National Park surrounds the harbour, and it can be viewed any time from ferries or from going for a walk. There's the Royal Botanic Gardens, and and other lovely. It's a really beautiful city, and it has some lovely natural settings. From the perspective of national parks and the papers that we'll be presenting at the conference, we have a flight unit, and our chief pilot will be presenting. He's been working with the New South Wales Chief Scientist Office on doing some work where we're looking at transforming raw data into actionable intelligence and revolutionising the operational efficiency and the resource responsiveness of an aviation unit like ours, and that will be really interesting work. We've also been doing a lot of work on firefighter training in National Parks and Wildlife Service. We like to think that we're training the firefighters for 2044. And what we're looking to do is develop training for our firefighters. That means when the next unprecedented fire season arrives, our staff have the resources they need to be able to think in situations that are difficult and come up with solutions, having been trained using AI, having been trained using flight simulators, that sort of new technology that means that we can prepare people for the unknown. We're very focused on that, and we'll be giving a presentation to the conference in that area.
That's absolutely fantastic. Now, we're almost out of time, but Jeremy mentioned how fantastic the convention centre by Darling Harbour is and how it offers such a fantastic exhibition. So although we're going to have another one of these firecasts talking about the exhibition, while you're on, what are you looking forward to when it comes to that side of the event?
The trade show is an amazing part. You can easily lose a lot of time going in there because there's so much to see. There'll be hundreds of exhibitors, and great just to see the product development, the innovation that's occurring there, and the opportunity to really spend some time with the different stands and the organisations that are represented, because they'll have their experts there as well. So if you want to talk really technical detail about new products, materials, etc., they've got the people there to be able to have those really good conversations, as well as just the excitement of seeing all the nice new bright shiny things that are on display.
It is true that the bright shiny things are pretty exciting. Last year when I saw the walking dog robots, that was pretty exciting, and it's a great opportunity to look at vehicles, which is always a focus for land managers with firefighting. I do think that the AFAC Solutions Theatre is a really good venue as well. It's like a TED Talk, and you can look at the program and see the things you're interested in and have someone give you a short, sharp presentation on something that might be relevant to your work. I think we've had it for a few years now at the conference, and I think it's been a great innovation. And I always look forward to seeing a few of the speakers while I'm in the trade show.
Naomi Stevens is from the New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service, while Commissioner Jeremy Fewtrell is from Fire and Rescue New South Wales and the AFAC24 Programme Committee Chair. Don't forget to sign up and get your place at AFAC24, and we will have another Firecast talking about the exhibition very soon. But you can find out more about the conference programme and the exhibition if you go to the website AFAC all one word, .com.au, where you'll find all the details and how to register. For now, thank you very much to Jeremy and Naomi for joining me on this Firecast, and we'll be back soon to talk about the AFAC24 exhibition. Join us then.
Firecast is produced and presented by Paul Hutton and is an MDM Publishing podcast in association with Asia Pacific Fire magazine.